So this right here is something that a lot of people do not take into consideration. It's something that I didn't even take into consideration for the longest time until I quit drinking. So much of our modern society is based around alcohol. Alcohol is one of the most recognized, most consumed, most encouraged drug addiction out there, in my opinion, because it is legal and because it is celebrated and people celebrate with it. They don't think of the repercussions of consuming it or think of the consequences of people who suffer addiction to it. And people who struggle with drinking comes from many different things. I personally believe that it can be generational, not necessarily genetic, but I do think that there is some science to the genetics of it as well because of how it alters your body. But drinking becomes such a crutch for people. And when you are drinking, you don't want to go anywhere where people aren't drinking because then it's not fun. Or if you go somewhere and there's not going to be the drink that you like, then you take your own. It's literally such a culture in itself, and it's hard to break free from. So when you do break free from the culture of alcohol and booze, then what do? Where do you go? Who do you hang out with? And for a long time, I didn't go anywhere. I didn't hang out with anybody because everyone that I knew was still going to those same places and they were still doing those same things. And I'm not going to push my agenda or my struggles on anyone else. If you still want to do that and you want to go do that and you can moderate it and you can have a good time and it not affect you, then good for you, I guess. But when I got away, I needed to get away. And it took me, this September will be 5 years I'll be sober from alcohol. And so if you were in this boat and you've recently quit drinking or you struggle with alcohol or you are still in recovery, then this is something that you need to consider when you're looking for social events or just new people to hang out with in general. If you live in a city or in a bigger town, you might have an option to go to, I think they're called like a dry bar. I could be mistaken, but I have heard of a lot of them, and they are growing popularity where they are like a bar scene with mocktails. There's no alcohol involved, so you still get the same vibes and the same social activity without the alcohol being in the mix, but you can still have a fun little drink that is actually healthy for you. So if this is something that you are currently struggling with, I'm just going to tell you, the road for me was difficult. I actually ended up moving completely away from town, all the people that I knew, and then when I was trying to find people that didn't drink, it was very difficult. But because I was living a more holistic and natural lifestyle now, when I was looking for people that could guide me, most of those people also did not drink, or if they did, it was moderately, and it usually wasn't around me. And then I met some friends later on who would specifically go out of their way not to have it around me. Not that they were, trying to do something for themselves, but because they wanted to spend time with me, respected my struggles and what I was going through and my healing process, and they didn't need it to have fun. When you're with the right people, you don't need the alcohol to have a good time. And most of the time when alcohol is involved, it's not going to be the time when you remember it anyways. If you're in a small town and you don't have that option, but you still want to go to events and activities, start connecting with your local chamber of commerce. Most of the time they have a Facebook or some type of website where they have events listed in what days and times and so on and so forth. And you can start weeding through activities by that. You're probably going to start finding a whole lot of new people, different age ranges, because you are going to something different than you have in previous times. You may go to an event and it may not vibe with you and you may decide to leave, and that's okay. The important thing is that you're getting out and you're trying new things. The more new things you try and the more you put yourself out there, the more connections you're going to make. And the more connections you make, the bigger your circle is going to become, and the more you're going to feel like you have developed your own new little family. So don't be discouraged. Keep your head held up high. Remember your own boundaries and stick to them. Don't ever feel the need to cave to somebody else's desires just so that way you feel included. Whenever you rise above your past addictions and you embrace your healing and you embrace your journey and your newness, is when you start to see life in a whole new light. So don't be discouraged. Try some new mocktails. Go on a solo adventure. The right people will find you, and you will find the right people. I love you guys. Be encouraged and love yourself today.